new year. I wanted to talk about the new Makeup by Mario foundation. I want to show you on what it looks like on and just give a review and some honest opinions of it. It's only been out a few weeks and I think I've tried it about twice now. I've done it for some looks that I've created, so I thought I'll show you what it looks like on it. So I done the online match finder, is it, to find the right shade, and it came up with 5N, which is this one, and actually I find that works really well for me. I also got the 17N, and I thought if I do use it in my kit, I always like to have a lighter shade and a darker shade and mix them, and these are the neutrals, so I stick to the neutrals usually, so I thought I'll see how it goes. So I'll show you on. I've tried to get as much daylight as possible, but it's, you know, Scotland, it's grey outside, it's 4 o'clock now in the afternoon, so we're losing the light. But I've got my ring light here, my makeup light, so that'll help. I just thought it's good to see it like in proper light. So I'm going to try it on. So as I say, I'll give it a wee shake. Now this foundation, I personally don't like a foundation that's got a bit of coverage. I much prefer foundations that are lightweight, sheer tinted moisturisers. I have very dry and dehydrated skin. I find when I wear a foundation that's a fuller coverage, it clings to my skin and I don't like the feeling of it. There's been a few foundations I've tried recently and I've not liked them because they just hadn't felt right. I do use the It Cosmetics CC Serum foundation. I use that in my kit, but I find it's good for dry skin, for somebody who wants a lot of coverage. I tried it on me and I wasn't so keen on it on me. Even though it looks lovely when I used it in brides and that, it looks really good, but on me, I just felt it was heavy and it looked cakey. So I was worried when I got this. I thought, well, this is going to be the same because it's quite a full coverage to me. I don't know if they say it's that. I don't know if it's like a buildable. It is buildable, but I don't know how they market it actually. I can't remember, but I find it quite a full coverage. So I've got nothing else on, so it's going to look a bit odd, but I'll do that. So this is the 5N. So now I literally use about that much, 2 pumps, that's maybe too much, but I use that. So I'm going to show you this on. So I'm going to use this lip brush. Now it feels, I must admit, it feels heavy. It does feel like, it's not like liquidy, it's quite a thick formula, I want to say. So I'm going to put it on and just look at that. Now I don't know I know it looks a little bit different in that light, but in the mirror there it looks perfect. I know it comes off a little bit yellow on here, but I think sometimes that's just the light, but it's not when I look in the real mirror. Look at that for coverage. That's just that tiny little bit that I've used on my skin. Look at that. Already the difference. So I'll do this side. You can just see, can't you, the way it's going on about how the coverage is in my nose. So I get quite a lot of redness, and look how it's just covering that. It's just totally covering all that redness up. It's just, and that's the tiniest amount. And you can see it's such a full, to me, I mean, as I say, I don't know if they're marketing it as a full coverage foundation, but for me, what I like on my skin usually, I would describe this as full coverage. So just look at that. But what the difference is, and I don't know what it is with this foundation. I actually don't know how or what they do, but it's the finish of it. So it's like a luminous finish, but it's moisturising. I think that's it. Is it a moisturising finish? I'm not quite sure. It's not, like, I don't powder, and when I've used this foundation, I've not powdered. It's got this really lovely, luminous kind of glow to it almost. And it looks dewy, but not like too much. And I just can't believe, I actually love this foundation. I never thought I would say that about a fuller coverage foundation. Is ignore the shade, again, it still looks a bit yellow there, but on there it's not. I absolutely love this foundation. I can't describe to you how much I like it, how much I like the coverage, how it sits on my skin, considering I would never go for a fuller coverage foundation. So foundations that I've tried, as I say, the It Cosmetics, too heavy, cakey on me. Estee Lauder Double Wear is a no-no for me. It's far too hard, like it's too heavy and cakey for my dry skin. And what's the other one? That was the other one. The Danessa My Ricks. Now I love her products, and I actually thought it would be a really good foundation. And I got the Yummy Skin, and I didn't like it. The colour was off. It was very yellow on me, like really yellow. and that was a neutral. Plus, I just felt it was so cakey. It was really cakey on my skin, and this just isn't. So I don't know if you can see that. Like, I will take some, I'll take some photos close up. So I've done this, I've used this foundation twice now, and I've shared the looks, and everybody has commented on that foundation. Oh my, it's amazing, and I love it. I am loving this foundation. I didn't think I would. I honestly didn't think I would like it, because, as I say, anything thick. But see that, and for the coverage that's got, for the full coverage, that does not look cakey on my skin. It doesn't look cakey whatsoever, especially down here when I've got all my hairs, my little fine hairs. Even though it doesn't cling to them and make, like a lot of foundations make it stick it, like, look really obvious. This doesn't, and it's got such, I wouldn't powder. Like, I personally don't powder much anyway, but with this I wouldn't need to powder. Because I usually use the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder. That's my go-to, like, foundation. But I find that it's lovely and dewy, but it's quite sheer coverage, which I like that, you know, over a full coverage. I do like it, but this, like, I love it, and I just love the finish. I can't get away with how amazing it is on my skin. And I say, I've got quite dry skin, and it just, things cling to it, and that's just that tiny amount. So I'm going to take some, like, photos and what little daylight we've got left, but I just can't rave on about this foundation enough. It's straight in my kit. Like, as I say, I've tried it, and Esmerix didn't make it into my kit. The Estee Lauder Double Wear, I had it in my kit, but I took it out because if it's not going to work on me, I just don't want it in my kit. I do just I've kept the It Cosmetics in, because I actually do like that finish on a lot of people. It is suitable, but I think for somebody with really dry skin, I wouldn't use it. Instead, I can see me using this. So my go-to foundation for bridal work is Armani Luminous Silk. This, I think, is quite comparable to the finish it leaves on the skin. It's just more coverage, but it's not heavy. So it's going to be really interesting. I've not used it on brides yet. I've only used it myself, and I loved it. It photographs beautifully. It's so nice, but I haven't used it on brides. So I do, you know, or like bridesmaids, I would like to get a chance to use it just to see how I feel about it on other people as well. But I'm so impressed with it. I just love this foundation and how it looks, and I feel between this and the Armani, I don't know, this is a little bit more coverage than the Armani. I'm actually going to test it out as well, like, to see how long it lasts and what it looks like. I don't wear makeup day to day, but I've got a day out next Saturday, so I'm going to use it. I would always wear if I was going to wear foundation, I'd wear the Charlotte Tilbury or the Delilah Cosmetics time frame. I really like that too, because it's just not as much coverage and it's dewy. But I want to wear this to see how I feel if I'm, you know, in the daylight, just to see how it lasts and how it looks. If you don't like coverage though, and you're worried about it being heavy, it feels like nothing is on my skin. Whereas the It Cosmetics, I can feel that in my skin. The Double Wear, I can feel in my skin. This, I can't feel it. It doesn't feel like I've got foundation on. If you've not got the Makeup by Mario foundation and you try it, it's worth it. It's not even, I mean, the only thing I would say in the UK is the postage was expensive, but it was £17, but I'm not, it came within days. I love it. I absolutely love it. Still loving it. Still highly recommend it. So I'll share some looks as well, I think, that I've done with it, that I used it and took photos with it, but absolutely, this foundation's amazing. Thanks very much for watching.